Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danny. I am an HA practitioner and a certified functional nutrition counselor and fertility awareness practitioner. And today I want to talk to you guys about business actually. So usually on this channel I answer questions about period recovery more often than not. We basically share information on how to get your period back. But back in February, we launched a practitioner certification for other women to learn to do what we do, because so many women after their recovery journey were coming back with their own desire to do this work too. Like, oh, how can I get into this? Like, are you hiring? What prerequisites are required to be someone who works with women with HA? So we created the only certification for it, and we're so surprised at how popular it was, because we really thought this was like a very niche thing, because like not many people were doing it, so we didn't think a whole lot of people wanted to. But it all makes sense now why so many people would want to spread the awareness and help women with this issue. So I wanted to talk today about what it takes and what is required to be a HA, a hypothalamic amenorrhea coach, and or to at least have tools to bring working with that population of women into your practice. So that's what our certification does. So we've got not only people who want to be just like straight HA coaches, but people who are doctors or personal trainers or physical therapists or whatever, who want to be able to bring this stuff into their practice. Just gonna mute this. My team is helping me with this episode actually, so they're sending me some things. But what I really want to kick off with, because I think we're going to do a number of episodes about this topic, but what I really want to kick off with today is just what you need to have as a prerequisite to even consider yourself someone who should be working with the HA population. And not all of these are going to be must-haves. This is just my personal opinion about what's going to make you great for this type of thing. So, someone with a history of HA is number one. Number one is that you have a history of dieting, and at some point have had low hormone function as a result. So I don't think you have to have had your period go completely missing, but I think you really need to be able to understand what leads someone to, what gets someone in the position where their period has gone completely missing. The reason for this is because 80% of the job is psychological. 80% of the job is working with women, leveling with them, and helping them unpack the layers of what got them in this situation in the first place. So without true compassion and true empathy, you're not going to be able to make quite the difference, because your client needs you to be able to mirror or say things out loud that they were thinking that they didn't say, because that's going to create trust, and they're going to look at you and be like, okay, she has figured it out because she truly was right here. I think that's one of the key things that makes us so successful, is that we're not some practitioner helping you with a problem that we've never had before, right? So there's that. The second thing that you need, besides a history of HA, is a solid understanding of female physiology. So you definitely need to understand the menstrual cycle from both an anatomical point of view and a hormonal point of view. I honestly wouldn't say you need to know it to the extent of what an endocrinologist would know it, but you do need to understand the most foundational, maybe a little more than the most foundational amounts of knowledge for the female reproductive system. So like in our course, for example, we put together like what you absolutely need to know about the anatomy and the physiology, both from a hormonal, like the messaging, the hormones that are literally pulsing through your body, and the conversation that your brain and your hypothalamus is having. So that HPO, the hypothalamus to ovary connection is extraordinarily important to understand how that's working, so that you can put that into context with your client, when you're learning about their life and hearing the stories they're telling you and understanding how they're eating and exercising and working and all that. And you can literally connect that to what's probably happening under the hood. And those two pieces combined allow you to make the best possible protocols and recommendations and guidance for your clients. And so that's why I recommend the two of those kind of together. The third thing that you have to have is nutrition knowledge. You have to understand that diet knowledge is not the same as nutrition knowledge, but you do need to have diet knowledge, because without it, you can't catch the things that they're doing wrong. So any amount of diet knowledge you have is going to be helpful for you to know, so that you can then teach them nutrition knowledge, right? So many of these women are doing macro tracking. So many of these women are low fat, low protein, no protein. Like, they're eating in a way that they think is for health, but actually is for weight loss, and they're confusing the two. So you need to have the ability to see the difference, present the difference to them. Hey, I know you're being healthy, but actually you're just doing weight loss. And then help them make changes, because it's actually really difficult to even spot the difference. So you really need to know this, and then you really need to be able to spot the gaps, have the knowledge and information to look at a client's food review, basically look at a client's diet and say, here are the gaps that you need for your hormones, right? For your body to have the raw materials it needs to make literal hormones, and to get that signal to the brain that we're safe. This is crucial. So I would say that is number 3. And then number 4 is going to be coaching skills. But the caveat here is you can develop this as you go. So we teach this in our course because we think that it's the most important piece, right? Like, that you can have all of the knowledge of the science and of the nutrition, but if you don't know how to help someone with a history of HA in particular implement the change, you're gonna notice. Like, you're gonna notice that you're hitting a wall. So we come across this all the time, and sometimes we've done like some presentations for other types of women's practitioner groups about making actual change. One of the biggest things we come up against when we meet dietitians and stuff is I love giving the information, and I know how to find like the issue, right? I can find it in the lab work, I can make the specific recommendation, but I can't get them to follow through. That's where the result comes in. Here's the thing. Period recovery, not that hard, and your client knows it, right? So why are they having so much trouble implementing change? If they know they just need to eat more, for example, say that's all it is. Say you just got someone who all they actually need is like 500 extra calories a day. Could happen. And they know it, but they're not able to do it. Well, what's getting on a meeting with you gonna do? You need to have some way of digging in, getting your claws into them, uncovering the truth behind why they're making the choices that they're making, and then helping them with guidance, accountability, education, and support to actually make change and then keep it consistent, right? And so that's what you're there as a coach, because they need someone to check in with and be consistent with. But if you don't have any tools to be able to do that, you're gonna get less results for your clients. Now, one of the best ways to do this, to get this skill, is to just jump out there, start having conversations with women, start working with women to understand what's working and what's not, right? Like, what's hitting home with them, what was missing. You know, we went through a long time of this. We charged very, very little in the early, like, first year of our business, because we were trying to get that experience up. And it was totally worth it, because it really lowered the stakes for someone to join and for us to get the result for them. But when we started realizing like, okay, we're hitting home runs with these people, we're getting them their result in a matter of weeks or months, we're getting them to have full on transformations. They're not just leaving with their period, they're not just leaving with a baby, but they're leaving with like a whole new lease on life. I think that is where you know, like, okay, it's time to be starting to charge my worth here. I am officially an HA and fertility coach, you know, of some kind. So those are the four things, that I think are going to be fundamental. And so the good news here is no one ever said you need to have a PhD, you need to be a doctor. Absolutely not. The doctors are already out there and they're not doing a super great job with this topic. Let's just be real. Okay? So it makes sense that actually we've proven that that's not what you need to be. You need to have experience and understand from a cultural, lifestyle, historical perspective where your potential client is coming from. So you have to have been through this in some shape, form, or fashion, so that you can make that connection and really understand where they're coming from. You need to have an understanding of what's actually happening in the body in the process of HA and someone who has a healthy menstruating cycle, so you know where we're trying to go. You need to know what what a healthy period needs to look like. And you need to have the ability to coach them through the whole thing, right? You need to be able to like have tools in your toolbox that can get you a result or get your client to actually make change. That's just going to be, without it you have a bunch of tools and nothing to like physically build, you know what I mean? So you need that. And then there's the third one, escape me, what I had said to you guys. I said you needed to have the background, the history, you needed to have the knowledge, you have to have the abilities to help someone implement, and you have to have the diet and nutrition knowledge of both dieting and of both actual nutrition. So those are the things. If building your own practice or getting into this is something that you would be interested in, I'm going to absolutely recommend that you subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be releasing more information about it, and B, go to our website and check out the information about our certification, and you can join the interest list there. So that's thehasociety.com/certification, and you can learn about the program that we do. We launch it a few times a year. At the time of this video, you know, it's only going to be the second time that we launch it, coming up in September. So the price is the best it's ever going to be, right? Because our goal is to get that thing like up there. So if you want to add this into your practice, or if you want to make this a part of your business, absolutely do. And a common question we get is, can you have HA and do the certification? And our recommendation is like, yes, of course you can do the certification, but be working on recovery, because we recommend that you actually are recovered by the time you're genuinely working with a client. And so that's kind of our caveat there. But if anything, it would help you, you know what I mean? While you're working through it, while you still have HA to kind of be learning about that. But yeah, absolutely, you want to be recovered before you're officially working with your first client. And that's how it goes. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions for me or any topic recommendations, please post them below. I would love to chat with you, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.